This is Talking My Walking. I am Rodrigo Ribeiro. Our lives are always, we are always worried about money. At least I know that there are people, they do not have this problem, but most of us, the working class and the poor in general, is always worries about money. Why do we have a society and a civilization that makes people feel that way? Why should we live in a society, be part of a society, and some even use the word community, and I think people do not really understand the meaning of community, because we don't respect the community, we don't live for the community, we live for ourselves and for our families. The community, we might feel, we might like to help people, to do some charity, to volunteer, but the fact is, we primarily are focused on our private wealth, on the family wealth and well-being, protect our private assets, and that is basically our where we are focused, because that's the basis of our society. So for most of us, we need to be worried, because if our so-called liberal democratic capitalistic societies, where everything is commodified and we are tempted by commodification, our lives are commodified and we are tempted by convenience. That's what I wanted to say. And the money is not enough for everything. The money is not enough most of the time for the basic things, and by basic things I mean food, healthy food, shelter, services, basic services, electricity, water, communications. So it means to pay the rent. If people and most people do need some mode of transportation, so you have to pay. Also to pay for education. If you have a family, if you have children, you have to pay for the education of your children. You have to pay for insurances, health insurances and other insurances. If you have a car, you need to pay for the car, you need to pay the bills. You are always worried that the car breaks down because you might not have enough money, or you might not have enough money to pay the insurance. So, as they say, we are only one step away from being bankrupt, from having not enough money to pay the basic bills. You cannot afford to be sick, cannot afford to have even a vacation. It's just work to pay the bills to survive. So this worry that is always on our subconscious, this worry is continuous, is permanent, because we know that we might not be able to make it. No, that is nevertheless, people work hard. People go. Why is that? Why do so many people praise capitalism, the so-called market economy, and the so-called free market? And why don't we make enough money to not feel this insecurity and this permanent uncertainty that some even glorify it? Because of course there are people, there are professions, that there are sectors of the economy that are profiting on that, profiting on the scarcity, on the uncertainty, on the austerity that is put upon us. So some people say, "Oh, this is not capitalism." There is some people that even say this is communism, and this is because of the left. The left has destroyed everything, destroyed the fabric of society, destroyed it's responsible for the industrialization process, the outsourcing, the delocalization of the industries, and so on and so forth. So it's always the left, which basically the people that blame the left, they are calling left parties, political parties, and politicians that are not left at all. But it doesn't matter, because what really matters, it's our convictions. It's what do we believe? That's what matters. That's the narratives that we consume, that become part of us, that colonize our subconscious mind. That matters. Even when the reality, the physical, material reality doesn't match it, because you can see that the problem is not the left, there is no communism or socialism basically anywhere, not even in China. You have state capitalism, that's what it is. Or at least a market economy, a capitalistic market economy. It's not liberal, of course, and it works and even works better, because capitalism doesn't like democracy, and associating democracy and capitalism is the first mistake. It doesn't work. It has never worked. When they talk about free markets, they talk about free markets for a certain elite, a certain group in society. It is as just, it is like I mean, capitalism is the system, the essence of capitalism is the primacy of private property and private wealth accumulation, which is always, it will be always a problem. It will always, the accumulation of wealth and the primacy of private property and the search for profit will be always, it will always create scarcity. Because the dynamic of this machine, this capitalist machine, is to create mechanisms to funnel the wealth upwards. Forget about the trickle-down, so-called trickle-down economics. It doesn't mean that sometimes the wealth doesn't trickle down, because it has to trickle down in some ways. But most of the time, or over time, it always accumulates on the top. And this is why we have a society, the society we have today. This is not just because there are corrupt people and ruthless corporate leaders and all that because they exist, but because the system rewards it. The system is, the capitalist system will always end up in this situation, as like the boom and bust cycles for the financial capitalism. You know, the build-up of financial bubbles is inevitable, because that's how it's how the system works. This has nothing to do with only the deviations. It is the consequence of the capitalist system, and this manufactured scarcity is the reason why we, the people, the working class, the poor, the working poor, and part of the middle class, especially the lower middle class, always have to live in fear, always worried with money that might not be enough, especially in the occurrence of an unexpected event, like a illness, like an accident, or like, just something that is not on the budget. Because if you are always in a tight budget, and if you have a system that where everything is commodified for profit, that's what I mean. Everything is for profit. You have a health system, for profit health system, a for profit education system. You have to pay everywhere we go, we have to pay for everything. You are made to believe that is fair, because the system, the user paying system, which means why should others pay? That's what they tell us. They tell us the story that why should the so-called taxpayer money, another lie of this system, that money is not needed to pay for the services. But they tell us that why should they always say it like that, why should your hard-earned money that you have to pay your taxes to fund services and other public benefits that you don't use. Okay? This individualistic principle that is based on the idea that you should not have free public services and other free access, or at least not commodified for profit, because it's against your interests as a regular citizen, as a common citizen. This is how they instrumentalize, this is how they weaponize the idea of having, just look at them. They are, it's a family, a troop of macaques that live here. You can see them. I'm not a threat. Look at them. You can see them there. They were playing. Okay, what is it? So another one there in the tree. Okay. Looking at me. Oh, no. He's just looking up. What is going on? I might be hungry in the morning. I mean, it's not morning anymore. It's already 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours of light. So they have been probably looking for food. They are back. They are back. They are back there. Playing. So that is this guy. Okay, I leave him. I go. The weaponization of with narratives that demonize everything that is public, state-owned, which means something that is state-owned means that belongs to us. We are the state. No? What we have, the problem with capitalism, it's because just the few on the top, over time, take control of the state, directly and indirectly, which means that the state is not run, is not managed on our behalf, but on the behalf of the elites, on behalf of the few. Should be obvious for everybody, and should be obvious also that it is related with the principle of the manufacturer scarcity. They need the manufacturer scarcity to keep us online, to keep the working poor online, to keep us worried. Because in a really democratic state where there are public services, where transportation, health system, education system, transportation, housing, and food and everything else is affordable, they say this is against the market economy. This is against our freedoms. No, this is against their freedom. The freedom of the ones that always benefit when society, the more the society is commodified, and the more they make us dependent on convenience, the better for them, not for us. Because the majority always will have to work hard to be able to make ends meet, and to be always so that's a lie again. That's always lies. But again, what matters is not the reality. What matters is what you believe, what we are made to believe. That is what matters. If we believe that there is no alternative, if we believe that the capitalist system is the only system that works, because it has been proven that socialism doesn't work, and this and that and so forth and so on, don't tell you that capitalist system has centuries of existence in different forms, and has always failed to solve the poverty. Not because poverty exists in rich countries where it could be solved just by a stroke of a pen. Okay, there is no need. The poverty only exists. By the way, poverty could be solved worldwide. I mean, there is no need for people. Just think about how the Chinese in 40 years totally transformed the country. I do not agree with it's not about that. It's not about if we agree or not agree, or if it's but the means, the technological means and the resources exist everywhere in every country. It is possible with the technological means that we have today to provide basic services, shelter, and food for everybody. It is the manufactured scarcity that benefits the elites, and among the elites there are people that want to live on rents. They are kleptocrats. They don't want to build wealth, real wealth, to develop the economy, to build the necessary infrastructures, to help people to be autonomous, to create communities, autonomous communities, and functional economies that are focused on producing basic, to provide the basic necessities, to satisfy the basic necessities and services, not to provide luxurious, superfluous stuff. That is only to destroy the planet. If everybody wants everything that is not absolutely no need at all. So the West, that has been throughout the all 20th century, was involved in two major world wars. But I don't know what kind of birds are there. Can you see them? It's not easy. I mean, it's just okay. The Europeans and throughout the 20th century, then we could have solved the poverty in the world, but no. The European countries and the United States of America and the other vassal states, the new, like countries like Canada, Australia, Japan, and also South Korea, but South Korea is a latecomer. Let's put this way. But they didn't want to solve that. But there wasn't the purpose. The United States of America by itself could have, with European countries, could have done a lot to transform the world throughout the to take people from poverty in Africa, in Asia, and elsewhere. What did they do? Wars. Neo-colonialism. Using this should be obvious. There are many people that still believe that it's not like that. It has, there is no. The United States and the European allies have been responsible for the underdevelopment, to keep people poor, because they didn't want to develop by the way, they destroyed and they overthrown governments that wanted. We can start with Mossadegh in Iran, or Salvador Allende and others that did want. They were not communists. They wanted to develop their own economies. That's why they wanted to nationalize. Again, what did they want to do? They want to that the resources of their countries and the economy of their countries were under their control, not exploited by foreigners, and there was just a little bit of wealth that they could not develop their economies like that. It would be impossible, because all the wealth was going out. This was the order, the international order, based on the dollar, when the dollar became as good as gold. That's what it was supposed to be. And then the dollar, Nixon just took the dollar from the gold standard. So, and that's when the dollar was pegged to the oil through the agreement with Saudi Arabia, and started to be known as the petrodollar. So the poverty and anger has never been solved, not because there was not resources for that or not technological means to. It's like today, if we don't solve the problems, it's not because there is no resources or there is no food to feed the people, because there is, and there is the possibility to educate people in order to make them more autonomous, more independent, and to educate it, to cooperate, to feel responsible for their economies, but to also have international cooperation, economic cooperation, and strategic cooperation, geopolitical cooperation. Not this competition, so-called great power competition that are supposed to exhaust the resources in militarization, and then less militarization, and always the build-up for war, for Cold War, and hot war, if not directly, at least through proxies, like it's happening now in Ukraine. So this is unacceptable. But the problem is, we are not able. We just live our lives worried with our problems, because our lives are more uncertain. Our jobs are more precarious, and that is supposed to be a good thing, because if you can now you trigger innovation, you trigger entrepreneurship, that is good. That makes people know. That is good for a few, because for most of us there is no opportunities. It's just people fighting each other, competing with each other for crumbs, or they need to accept jobs for low pay and no rights, just uncertainty, just to be always on the brink of losing the shelter of not being able to make ends meet. And that's we are supposed to see this as a good thing, as the perfect system, as the system that is irreplaceable. You know why? Because the people behind it want to control everything, and they even want it to be the solely hegemon. That was the intention. That's why we never developed the economies of the so-called third world, because we didn't want it. Why did we destroy Iraq? Not only many people say it's only about oil. No. it's about not giving the possibility of these countries, like Libya, Iraq, and other cases, to become sovereign and autonomous, and to become a threat to the hegemonic power. That is the main reason, and if people do not understand the foreign policy, the U.S. foreign policy, and the West imperialist foreign policy in more broader terms, we don't understand what it is about. It is, of course, about controlling resources, that is for sure. But not because they could have the resources and control the resources. But the war comes when the governments of these countries want to be sovereign, don't want foreigners controlling their assets, you know, and that is an unforgivable sin. That was because, you know, Saddam Hussein once was the poster boy of the United States. It was just you know why? When the United States wanted the Saddam Hussein to go to war with Iran, a very bloody war, where they even used chemical and biological weapons. You know, that was okay. Just use Iraq to fight Iran. And these things most people just don't even remember. As many people do not know about it. But ones that know about it do not remember it, because we are continuously bombarded with propaganda that you know, it's narrowing, that narrows our analytical abilities and our critical thinking. While we are worried with our not being able to pay the bills. And again, we should be and we should be and we should use our lives to have the opportunity to have more time for ourselves, for our families, for our community, and to really develop and feeling that our communities, wherever we live, the well-being of everybody is important, and the health of our environment is important. So everything is together, is connected. And how can we go to bed in peace if you know that your neighbor don't have enough? Doesn't have enough to eat, but we do, because we become desensitized by this system. We don't feel responsible for that. We are supposed to feel empathy for things that are far away, but not the things that are close to us, because it's fake empathy. Sometimes doesn't need to be fake, but we become this kind of, schizophrenic, dissociative behavior and thinking modes, and we just accept it as the reality. What can we do? This has always been like that. Why don't you think about something else? No, I tell you why. Because since I start to understand how society was run and ruled, I start to feel it in my own skin and flesh and blood and thoughts and feelings. Okay, so that's why. The reason why this is important to me, it's because life is important to me, and we should have lives with meaning and purpose and creativity and healthy relations, and we are not allowed to, because we have to work hard. We have to be better than others. We have to think about ourselves. We have to be selfish. We have to be ambitious. We have to be harsh. We need to do what it takes in order to be successful. So, what are the others? What does the others become? They become objects. They are objectified, and they become just obstacles in our way to success. So we, in one end, we use people because we need to use them in order to be successful. So they don't count. We don't care about them because we just use them as instruments, as tools. So that's why we are given as little as possible, because they don't feel responsible for the ones that pursue success do not feel responsible for us. They just want to use us to achieve their objectives. So it doesn't matter if you have enough money or not. That's your problem. You have to solve it by yourself. That's the rules of the market. You know. This is based on, this is called by some social Darwinism. The rule by the fittest. Okay, you know what I mean. As if society doesn't matter, as if we do not need, as if we can accomplish everything just through our means, that we don't need to rely on other people's wisdom, other people's talents and labor to achieve our goals. So our lives don't matter because the people on the top, or the people that achieve the top, they don't see, many of them don't see ourselves as people. They see ourselves as another category of beings. So we do not matter, because we don't, the idea of blooded people, the different blood. Yeah, they are different from us. Our suffering doesn't matter. Does it matter if our lives have meaning and purpose? No. Does it matter that we are worried all the time just to survive? No. So this is, I mean, we shouldn't accept to live like that, and we should think that there are solutions. There's no such thing. We have a saying in Portugal that goes more or less like that the only thing that doesn't have a solution is death. Okay, so apparently there are people already working to probably try to defeat death. That is as hubristic as it can be. Delusional hubris. That's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. So, because there is the economics of scarcity, there is the economics of sufficiency. The economics of sufficiency makes sure that everybody has the basic needs satisfied, and the economics of scarcity makes sure that even in the middle of abundance, people need to struggle to make ends meet, because this is how more wealth is made to be accumulated on the top. You know? So instead of buying into narratives that make us believe that we have to live as we live today, the political system, economic system, and the civilization, the civilizational paradigm that we live today is forever. It can't be changed. We are working. No, there is always the hope perspective. Things will become better somehow. You know, we use the technology. That's why this society is so obsessed with technology, because technology gives us hope, material hope, which means that we are going to solve the problems through technology, through the technological advances, which obviously is true to a certain extent, because our lives are much more, many tasks are easier. Our productivity has grown a lot, and there are many benefits that the technological advances and the scientific advances bring to our lives. Everybody understands it, and it should not, it must not be disregarded. But the blind faith on technology is not to solve political problems. That's why the tech oligarchs, like Peter Thiel, they want to replace. They state publicly that they would like to see technology replace politics, because it's exactly one crucial point. Technology without politics is a tool for the oligarchy. We might, the people on the top the plutocrats and the oligarchs might change or become more diverse, because we live in a diverse world, so the oligarchy might be more diverse, more inclusive, all right? But the only way, but it won't solve the problems, because technology controlled by the oligarchy is to produce wealth for them and give them more power and control. So, politics, technology will never replace politics, because politics is what makes us decide what kind of system, economic system, political system, institutions, international international institutions, organizations, and what should be this reality, and how technology should be used, and what kind of technology should what kind of technologies should we have. This is politics. So and the politics need to be democratic, and I don't mean only democratic in terms of elections. I mean democratic in a broader sense, not just by elections. I think it's the same guy every day. He likes to sit here and look around. Huh? Isn't it nice? Yes, I think so. And they go away. Just look at the sounds they make. The sounds they make. It's a mother with a baby. It's a mother with a baby. I could see her. Because these ones might not be. You can see the guy over there? Huh? Chewing something. I don't know what kind of foods they can find here. You see the sounds they make? There's another guy over here sitting there looking at me. They are not aggressive. If they not feel threatened, they are not aggressive. You know, they just stay where they are, or if they are in, you know, they just go away. They come back. You can see they come back. They're coming back. Coming back. Yes. No. No. They are there, up there. It's a group of them. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. I go. Just see the guy there hanging. Oops! It just fell. You know, it's this guy there. It just broke. The branch was a dead branch. Just. Okay. I go. This is their territory. I want to disturb them as little as possible, you know, because we should not even give food. I mean, I don't know if these people, because I don't know if these guys go and look for food close to the street, the street that goes to the temples. I have no idea if this particular troop just stays here or if they go there and look for food, because many of them are many of them are already accustomed to look for food close to the temples. It's so I don't know if this particular troop goes there. This is a bit far away, not very far away, because they can perfectly they could perfectly go there, but I don't know, so just speculation. So it is I mean, it is frustrating. It is frustrating because you know, for most people, or at least majority, I think, just accepts the reality the way it is. You know, it's just okay. This is what it is. I have to get a job. I have to try to save money. I need a house for my family. So they learn, or we learn how to adapt and conform with this reality, and on the basis that it is not possible, or at least it is very difficult to challenge it and to change it. So politics. So this is the corner temple that is the politic. Okay, I go here. The politics, you know, is to the minor changes. So we go from the range of parties that promise this and that, and some reforms, and it's just management. It's just the management of illusions, because there is no real changes. By the way, those changes do exist, but they, as we all can, it is verifiable by all of us. The last 40 years we have been witnessing changes, but changes against us. Political changes, legislative changes, institutional changes against us. But of course, framed narrative, metaphor, made, supported by narratives, framed in ways to convince us that is in our benefit, that especially for the ones that want to work hard, that they want to convince us of with a special trick, and that special trick is to convince us, each one of us, that we are better than the other ones. You know, we can always use the system in our favor, or the flaws of the system, or the whatever the system has to offer us, we can use it on our benefit. doesn't matter. So it again makes, instead of that, we build a system that makes life easier for all of us. No, we accept the idea that our exceptional condition of each of one of us will be enough, because we are smarter, because we are more hardworking, or because whatever reason, we can use our capabilities, individual capabilities, to defeat the system, or to overrule the system, or to be smarter than the system and smarter than others in order to survive, and eventually flourish. Which means that this transference of responsibility from the society to the individual makes it much easier for the rulers and for the elites to control everything, because they do not need the society is so divided and individualistic that it's much more difficult to organize and unite against a powerful elite that controls the wealth, controls the institutions, controls the narratives, basically controls everything. So we are defeated in every front, or we have been weakened in every front, and especially in our ability to organize, to recognize the roots of the problems, to unite, and to think about an alternative. And not only an alternative for a better life, or at least I think an alternative for a better life as a life that we can enjoy more free time. I mean, besides giving back, besides our responsibility as productive citizens of the society, we should have more time and then not be worried, because if we all contribute to our fair share to satisfy the needs of the society, the rest of the time of our lives should be used in creative ways, whatever our idiosyncrasies are, whatever we like to do, and we change throughout life. So what means that we don't need to be all the time, all our lives, interested in only one thing. We also might change our interests. What really makes us feel alive and give meaning to our lives. So this, because I mean, I know that it is possible that we can be happy just by being focused in accumulating more and more and more, because this is what is supposed to be the meaning of happiness in our society. And it's understandable, because when we don't have money, we feel miserable. We feel miserable because it's like being immobilized. It's like you have just tied to a chair or a pole, and you cannot move, because that's what the meaning of the money is a tool. It's to open gates and close gates, and to keep us away. We don't go to certain places because we cannot afford it, not because we deserve it or don't deserve, or because whatever it is the reason. It is just because we cannot afford it. And the system is made in that way in order to keep us, to keep the many, to keep the poor away. So, but we are supposed to venerate them, you know, we are supposed to idolize them, you know, we are supposed to see to celebrities, sports people, movie actors, and you know, all kinds of famous people as examples and as role models for us. and that is I mean, why don't we just think that we could have lives that we don't need, and we can never have those expensive toys. That is an impossibility. It is not about this is not about injustice. This is about impossibility, physical, material impossibility. So it is stupid that we believe that we can afford, that we can someday have this and that and or whatever. No, what we need is time. And it is the feeling of belonging to a community, not the feeling of being isolated and atomized and left alone, left behind, totally in total despair, and having the feeling that life is for nothing. You know, because it's very difficult to, for many people, it's very difficult. They have to accept jobs totally, you know, that destroy, that dehumanize us, that are so destructive. Not because they are it doesn't mean that they are hard. It means they are meaningless. They make us, they impoverish us mentally, creatively. They make us dumb. So only the jobs that are really necessary, you know, the really important tasks and work that is necessary for a functional society, those jobs should be the ones that all of us should be obliged. In this case, it is an obligation that we give our fair share. But because we could work much less hours if it was not because of the principle of the manufactured scarcity and artificial and manufactured scarcity and political austerity, with the purpose of having us, I mean, constantly worried about money. Because they don't want us to have political agency, they don't want us to rest and have a peace of mind and be able to analyze and to discuss and to be part of groups and movements. They want us tired. They want us helpless. They want us feeling that it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot change anything. Just fight for your survival. Just try to keep a roof over try your best to keep a roof over your head, and eventually to keep your family together if you are able to, and just try to raise your children, but that you know that they probably are going to have even a worse life than you, in spite of all the technological and scientific development, in spite of all the productivity gains. Where do they go? Why don't we ask those questions? Why should we allow an elite, the fire sector, finance, insurance and real estate, basically the rentier capitalists, which is just a parasitic activity destroying the real economy, be the ones that dictate the rules of the market, be the ones that control the market and control our lives. That's what they do. With the horde, and they create so many accomplices. There is so many people that already have, in the 10% of the population, especially in the rich countries or like America, there is a lot of families and people. So there is a lot of people. I missed, there was some people, some bikers riding their bikes, and I forgot. No, I just missed it. So this sector is the one that is control our lives, and because there is they already have a lot of accomplices, especially in the upper class and middle upper class, like 10% of the population, as I said, that part of their rents, part of their income, or part of their wealth comes from these parasitic activities. And this should be clear for every regular citizen, ordinary citizen, or that means the majority of us, that these people are predating on our wealth. I mean, on our ability to have decent, dignifying lives, and in our free time to dedicate to whatever we think it makes sense and gives meaning to our lives, besides our job, whatever job we need to do in order to make the money. Especially if it should not be about the money, should not be about the way that we need to reciprocate, that we need to give back what we get from society since we are born, or even before we are born. So there is a lot of goods and services that we benefit since we are in the womb of our mothers. So health services and the food, the quality of the food that our mothers can afford. Since then we are born, and all the benefits from a society that all the goods and services that we benefit because they are available on the society, we need to give back as in the form of our participations. It should not be even about money. It should be about giving back. So the money should be used, I wrote it some time ago, the money should be just, there are lots of activities that are necessary, but they are hard, they are dangerous, they are monotonous, so they are not appealing, okay? So the people that are willing voluntarily to do it need to be rewarded for it. So that's to be a kind of a special reward to incentivize people that do not mind to do it. Then the rest of us can skip it. But if there are not enough volunteers to do it, that should be shared. Not just because some of us feel that we are entitled, because of some reason that we are entitled not to do it, or because we believe we should be privileged or we have the right or something like that. No, if they are needed for the collective well-being, they also need to be shared. And none of us should feel above it. There should be some system to make sure that those jobs are done and not based in the manufactured scarcity that makes them just the poor of the poor to do it because they cannot. They need to do it because they need to survive. They need to accept it. They need to comply. Okay, there's many ways that we can use money. We can use social benefits, or we can to reduce how many hours they work, or we can make them work less years than the rest of us. Whatever we can use this reward system in order as a social recognition. No, okay, not as an individualistic recognition based on meritocracy that in many cases do not exist. Is negative meritocracy. Okay, it's negative because it's not creating good, but it's creating bad. Is not for the benefit of the collective good, but is sucking the blood of the quality of the people and of society and of the real economy. So I'm going to end up here because I'm arriving and I need to go back home because I have things to do. So thank you for listening and until soon.